In this guide, I'll walk you through how to build an N8N automation that can handle large XML files and load the data straight onto your Postgres database. And make sure to stick around until the end because I will also show you how to send an email with processing stats and add error handling to make the workflow bulletproof. Stop wasting time manually parsing data and let the automations do the heavy lifting. Have you ever had to deal with XML files like customer lists or massive order data and found it incredibly tedious to manage them manually? Imagine opening each file, copying values and pasting them onto your database. It's slow, repetitive, error-prone, and if you need to deal with the large files, it's very time-consuming. With N8N, we can build a workflow that will completely automate this process. I'm going to be running everything inside Docker, so I'm going to be creating 2 Docker containers. One for the Postgres database, another one for the N8N. And I'm also passing the environment variables to the N8N container. So when creating credentials and connecting database, this is what I'm going to have to use. And as well as defining the volumes here. So if I create any workflows and persist any data, I'll be able to take down that container, bring it back up, and the data will be there. In order to get this started, I'm inside the location where this Docker Compose exists. And I'm just going to do Docker Compose up-d, and this will start all the containers. So then if you have a Docker for desktop, you can go to the images. You can see that they both have been downloaded. If you click inside the containers, you can see that the both containers run using those images. And if you are interested on how to get this running inside Docker, I have another video for you to check out. And I will also leave the Docker Compose file in the description below in case you want to run it yourself. So the first step in our automation is the trigger. So I'm going to search for Google Drive, trigger on changes involving a specific folder, add my Google Drive credentials, check for new file every single minute, and then I'm going to select a folder. I have created a folder called N8N. That's the folder here. And then I'm going to watch for new file being created. Click Fetch Test Event, and if we scroll down, we can see that the file has been successfully fetched. Go back. Next, we're going to have to download the file. Search for Google Drive again. Click Download File, and then we can select the file, drag and drop using the ID, execute step, and the file has been successfully downloaded. So once downloaded, next we want to extract the data. So we're gonna select extract from file, extract from ODS, execute steps, and now we have the data in the table or JSON. Go back to the canvas, and now we can start processing that data. For this, I'm gonna loop over the items, which allows you to process elements from that file in batches. My file is pretty small, so I'm just going to keep the batch size at 1. However, if you have a very large file, you probably want to set this higher to improve efficiency. So since I'm going to be storing these records inside the table, we first need to create a table. So I'm going to create Postgres and then execute an SQL query. So I have already connected to my Postgres account, and this is the data from the Docker Compose, which we have passed as an environment variable to the N8N container. So operation is execute query, and here I'm going to create a table called orders with order ID, customer name, amount, and item. And if we look at the XML file that I'm going to be processing, it's got exactly these columns. Click execute steps, and the table has been created. So now that the table is created, I'm gonna disconnect this node, move it here for now, and then for the loop, I'm gonna create a new one called Postgres, insert rows in the table, rename it to insert record. I'm gonna select the table called orders, which is the table that we have created. And then I'm gonna map the JSON fields to the table names. Select the date as now, click execute steps, and this has created a database entry for each database record in that file. When working with N8N, one of the biggest challenges is handling large datasets. If you try to insert 100,000 rows in a single go, N8N will load everything into memory. This can easily mean anywhere from 20 to 50 megabytes of data, which can often crash the workflow. On top of that, the Postgres insert node might fail or slow down drastically when dealing with huge payloads. A natural workaround might be to loop through each row and insert them one by one. Well, that quickly becomes a problem. 100,000 rows means 100,000 database connection calls. That can be extremely slow and can easily hit connection limits. Better solution would be to batch. Instead of sending all rows at once or one at a time, you split the data into manageable chunks. For example, 200, 500 or 1000. Inside N8N, we can set the batch size when processing. Each batch is then inserted into the Postgres with a single query, which the database can handle easily. This reduces the total number of queries dramatically. Imagine 200 inserts of 500 rows instead of 100k single database calls. So now let's quickly execute this workflow to ensure it works as expected. So click Execute Workflow. Oh, looks like we've got an error. That's because the ID is auto-generated on the database, so we don't need to map anything against that field. Go back to the canvas, run the workflow again. And if you take a look here, it has run 10 times successfully every single time. So that means the data from our drive is being downloaded, extracted into Element, processed in a loop one by one, and then inserted into database. So let's say we want to take a step further and, for example, maybe send an email once the workflow successfully completes. So we have this process node here that process items in a loop one by one. So the item is being processed, is being sent to the database, and then we loop back to the process records, we process second element, etc. Once we get to the end, in this case 10 items, we have this done node, which allows us to take an action once processing has been completed. So in order to do that, I'm going to start building the workflow, search for code, JavaScript code, and here I'm just going to return an almost like a placeholder value that will allow me to consolidate all the elements into one, which is perfect for what we're trying to do, because we only want to send an email once and not for all the items that have been processed. So this will allow me to consolidate all the results into one. So now we are ready to send an email. Send email. And then once you connect your email account, for the from email, I'm just going to use one of my emails. Same for the to email. For the subject, I'm going to just put automation status, and I'm going to extract the number of results in the file. And this matches the exact name inside this workflow. So it will allow me to extract number 10, specifying the number of records. For the format is HTML. I prepared this HTML code that will just send this automation report that the XML file has been processed. And then it will give you a summary with the number of records that has been processed using this variable here as well. And let's try to execute this workflow. And if we check my email address, you can see that the email has been received. The number of records has been passed correctly with all the appropriate HTML data that we have generated. But what happens if something goes wrong? Imagine someone uploads a broken XML file that has invalid data. But what if the database is maybe temporarily down? In both cases, our workflow won't complete successfully. Instead, it will fail right in the middle of processing, leaving us with incomplete data and no clear way to recover. Obviously, this is not ideal for a production workflow, so let's try and fix that by adding proper error handling. So by default, if again error, the workflow will stop. Obviously, there are certain steps where maybe error handling is not required. However, when inserting information inside the database, this is actually quite important. So if you go to the settings, it says the workflow will stop during the error. We can change that, and we can continue using the error output, which means the extra node will be generated and it will allow you to take an action. So for this, I'm going to create a code node that will run some custom JavaScript code. I'm going to give it a name, count errors, and this will run for each element inside the loop. And here I'm going to define two different variables, one that counts errors, another one that grabs all the error messages. So both of these will be assigned to the static data, error count and error details, and they will be available globally within this N8N workflow. So that means I'll be able to access those within a different step. So if we go back to Canvas, this will count the errors. And then we also need to add the line to the process record. So once the error is processed, we can carry on processing elements. So finally, we're going to have to add the final step between the consolidate and send emails to make use of these error counts and prepare data inside the email. Just going to click plus, code in JavaScript. I'm going to call it prepare data for email, run once for all the items, paste the code. And within that code, all we're really doing is accessing the error count and error details within that static data, which is available globally. We assign the error count to this JSON final error count, which we are going to access within the email in the next step. And we also append all the errors to the list using the HTML format, because if you can remember, this is the format that we have used to send our email. Finally, we're going to have to update our HTML template to include the errors as well. So as you can see, I have added another row that will use the JSON value that we have set in the previous step, as well as the error list. So now let's try to test this flow, but first I'm going to have to add some records. So I'm going to add 2 more records. On the first one, I'm going to skip customer name. I'm going to set a price and just put some random item. On the next one, I'll also skip customer name. And again, just going to put another item, hit save, and hit execute workflow. And as we can see, the workflow has completed. We have processed 12 records this time, and we've had 2 errors. And if we take a look at the email that we have received, this time we have processed 12 records, 2 of them had errors, and then we get a detailed error message on why this particular row has failed. So there you have it. We've built a fully automated and resilient workflow that not only does process files and loads them onto the database, but also sends a beautiful success and failure notifications. Finally, if you found this guide useful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more automation content. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.